Welcome to the Spark of Ages podcast. Today we have a special roundtable featuring two key players from Position Squared who are leading development on our new 3D rendering product that we're launching, StudioX. It's two leaders in the company that have been with me for quite a long time. One is Rajesh Muthialiu, who we call M for short, and he's an award-winning creative professional with over 20 years in the digital space, leading our experience and design teams at Position Squared. He's a leader at transforming brands with incredible creative excellence, and he builds strategy into everything that he does. He loves 3D, and it encompasses 3D visual content, 3D animation, environments. It goes to gaming, the metaverse. He's been labeled as one of the top 10 creative officers by CEO Insights. I also have with me Vikram Raghavachari. He used to be on the client side, working for amazing companies like Intel and Lenovo. He was on the client side, working closely with my team. And now he leads our computing systems business unit at Position Squared. He's really working super hard to help us grow our company and our business, but really help clients take their ideas, their physical ideas, their product ideas, and turn those into great marketing, great products, great way of representing themselves. So I'm very fortunate to have both of them here today. And this is different than just a product release story. For me, this is super exciting because I didn't expect them to do this. I encourage innovation. We encourage the team to experiment with AI. And M leads a team that has great designers, great creatives, great copywriters, as well as developers, but mostly on the web and the application side of development for clients. I have a separate team, and you've met them before, Vikrant, who leads our product development team. And M's team, working with Vikram, they were so fed up with what was out there in the market today that they decided to create the best product ever, and it's called StudioX, meant for 3D rendering. And I'm just happy to have both of them here today to talk with you.
Thank you, Rajiv. Great to be here.
Thank you.
Great to have both of you here. It's been a little while since I saw you in person, so it's great to have you. Our teams work from around the world, and so it's great to have you here. So, hey, the reason I wanted you guys here is because StudioX is really an exciting new offering for us, and it highlights a tremendous amount of innovation. So, Em, you could talk about who's the target audience? What's the visual demand and frustration that marketers are facing? Why did you end up building this?
So our primary focus is on marketers in consumer electronics, computing, and automotive industries. So these sectors are unique because they launch products frequently and operate across multiple geographies and rely heavily on high fidelity visuals to communicate product differentiations. So StudioX was purpose built to handle those demands, especially the need for speed, accuracy, and consistent brand presentation across touchpoints.
So Vikram, what would you see as the main areas that, you've been talking about doing something like this for quite some time, and you've worked with other companies that make these types of products. So what struck you?
Product companies by nature very passionate about the design of their products, right? They want their products to look the best. They want all the details to come out and make that connection with the buyer, and they spend a lot of money to do that, right? So the industrial design, the specs, the color, the feel, all of that has a large role to play in how successful the product is. And when you have to translate that into the digital world, especially in marketing, it takes a lot of effort, right? So you've got to rely on tools and you have to keep turning the product around, moving it around to get just that right shot that you want, or sets of shots, right, to generate. Now, with legacy tools and utilities that I've seen, it takes ages, and pretty much the marketing team gets frustrated and says, okay, we'll go with what you can give us that's out there already. Just generate something for us that works always, and we'll go. So they're like leveraging 60% of the product's beauty or attractiveness, right? With StudioX, it's so much faster that now marketers have a say in how the product should look, and not just the design teams, right? So now marketers can generate angles, zoom into details, do things they could never do before in the time that they could never think of, right? What used to take minutes or even specific requests to special teams now is all completely democratized. They can do it right at their desk or with someone next to them and get exactly that kind of shot they need. Imagine an exec who wants to launch a product at CES or in front of the global press or media. A regular shot, a regular photograph of the product is just not going to cut it. It has to look stunning. And how do you keep iterating with that, right? You can't keep going back to an agency, can't keep going back to marketing teams asking, hey, change this, change that, change this. Now you have a tool that CEOs, admin can help with. They can open it up, they can keep changing that, they can get exactly the right shot that will make people go, wow, right? So that is the benefit we bring: speed, democratization, and self service.
That's really cool. Like the idea of this, and you experienced this when you worked on the product side for one of the largest computer companies in the world, Lenovo. So you have a product, you're going through the process of presenting it to press, analysts, your team, your customers. And so, what was the pain that you were going through at the time?
Look, when there's a global announcement, when a product has to be launched, it's a pretty big deal for companies, right? A lot of money is put into it, and things have to work really seamlessly. Now, if when everything is well orchestrated from the highest offices, resources are put behind it, and then things, slow down when you have to do something as fundamental as finding the right shot for a product or getting the right angle or getting a series of beautiful photorealistic images. If something gets slowed down at that stage, it just puts a whole spanner in the works. It makes the whole thing look inefficient, and it slows down the whole thing. And the clock is ticking for any product launch for a global company. The clock is always ticking. Time is not on your side.
Yeah, you're definitely like with anything consumer, any
Absolutely.
laptop or desktop or consumer devices. You're talking about a multi-billion or sometimes hundreds of billions of dollar industry. You have so many competitors coming out with products all the time. So speed to market is absolutely critical, right? And you're really selling the product. This is a product you're going to use every day.
Exactly. So that you brought out, that's exactly the right word. So you're going to be selling the product every day. So every day you can't keep showing the same thing. The job of product marketing and marketing as such is to make the product stand out, not make it look the same like everything that's out there, right? So you have to keep reinventing how it looks. You have to keep reinventing how it's presented. Now, I don't mean at a messaging stage, but pure visual appeal, right? You have to keep doing that. You have to keep improving on that every time. And the only way you can do that is if you don't have to rely on designers, 3D teams, and all those specialists whose time is very precious and they've got other stuff to do. So marketers have to have something that they can rely on themselves, something that empowers them to make the best of the product, within their cubicles, so to speak. So this is a solution that does exactly that. And not just believe, but I've seen that it can not just save time, but the beauty of the product is that it brings to life so many intricacies of the design, of the engineering, of the human interfaces that was simply not possible before. So it not just delivers what you wanted, but it also opens up a whole lot of avenues of stuff that you probably didn't visualize.
So what are some of those things? Like what are you thinking about opening up that you couldn't have? Like right now, when I see the visualization of a product, you usually get a shot of it and then it's a straight up shot. In this case, you're doing 3D, so you're getting it in three dimensions, but then there's more than that.
There are large companies, I don't want to name them, but who differentiate purely on product design, right? So a phone looks like a phone, looks like a phone. So to the regular guy, hey, these are all $1,000 or $2,000 phones. What's so different? Okay, maybe the OS is different. No, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the.
Yeah, it's not just a feature
Exactly.
function list. Yeah.
Exactly. It's how it feeds in your hand and what it looks like. So the grooves, the texture, the shine, the matte, the reflections, how it bounces off light, how it handles glare and gloss and all of that. When you like what you see, then you're willing to go to the next step to explore if it meets your requirements. You have to please the eye first before the eye is the gatekeeper to the brain, so to speak, right? So if you don't like what it looks like, you're not going to consider it. That's the way products work. So this is an essential step, of making the product look wow. This is essential to product marketing, absolutely. And in the recent past, there's a lot of effort that goes in manually to it. What we've brought is a bit of sophistication, automation, speed, and democratization. Like I said before, right? So plenty of advantages to use something like StudioX. And if you've got the volumes, of products, that justify something like this, it's absolutely amazing what it can do.
So, I mean, talk about this from the perspective of, you get the request from a client of ours, from a product marketer that wants to have this new product visualized. Talk about it in terms of what are you dealing with today prior to building this? Like, what led you to do that?
We built StudioX from our own pain points, Rajiv. So for many years, our creative teams have utilized various 3D software tools and custom workflows to create 3D content for our clients. So we often spend weeks producing photorealistic product renders. So how this works process, right? So clients, right, from the product engineering team, they'll provide us the blueprints, which is CAD files, right? So we take those CAD files, we convert those CAD files into 3D models based on the guidelines what we receive from them, which is called CMF, right? CMF stands for color, material, and finish. So once we apply CMF to that model, and we'll send it back to the product marketing team to take sign off from them, from the engineering team, to ensure that whatever we applied, the material, the color, the texture is perfect. And then what we do, once we are done with the modeling process, we'll set up that whole thing on the StudioX platform where marketers or designers can play around with the product and they can render all the angles however they need.
The issue is, like, before, you would take these files and then convert it using available software in the market. And what was the issue that you guys were facing? Before this, there were definitely products in the market that allow you to do 3D modeling, right?
Yes, I'll tell you the pain points, right? So how we used to do before. So our work, especially the 3D work, depends on skilled professionals who are proficient in 3D tools and who understands product photography and who understands other Adobe softwares, which demands a diverse set of skills, right? So we have to depend on multiple skill sets. So right from understanding the product photography to 3D technical skills to using Adobe softwares like Photoshop and other tools. So we realized we could consolidate all the years of experience and learnings as per the industry standards into the single platform called StudioX.
So you have all these different skills you had to do. So you had to use all these different software platforms, right?
Yeah.
And then from that, where were you hitting a wall?
Now we don't need all these skill sets to produce these 3D renders, right? So we integrate everything to one single platform where anybody with basic skills, computer knowledge, they can generate these wonders. So there is no bottlenecks. The beautiful thing is this works in any browser, right? You don't need to install anything on your laptop, right? You can log into the StudioX platform and start rendering your products based on your lighting or based on your use cases. So you don't need to require any 3D skills. You just need to have the basic product understanding. That's it.
That's really cool. Is anyone else doing something like this?
Yes, there are other players in the market who does similar things. So how do we differentiate from them? Most rendering tools are either too generic or too complex for marketers. So StudioX sits in this sweet spot with industry-specific rendering capabilities combined with the UI simple enough for non-technical users. So one of the biggest differentiators is ability to create exploded views of products with full custom controls, right? Right from HDRI lighting and focal length adjustments to fine-tune customization aligned with the product features. For example, in the automotive industry, right, a manufacturer can use StudioX to showcase different configurations of the same model, changing interior colors, wheel sizes, and finishes, the dashboard layouts, and the textures of the seat all in real time. So we have seen many other platforms which don't give you all these features in one single platform. Again, they have to depend on multiple platforms.
You got to keep switching back and forth from all these different things. So
Yes.
this was the thing that Vikram was talking about before, that I have time, but I don't have a lot of time, and I have to go and look at all these things, and I want to put my best foot forward, right? So this allows you to see all of it.
Yeah, this allows marketers to visually communicate the breadth of available options to customers with the cost and delay of multiple photo shoots, right? So this same applies not only for automotive, even for consumer electronics and computing products, where visualizing variations like colors, material, finishes, or internal components, right? How they arrange the components inside the product. So everything can be visualized and rendered in StudioX within Studios without any dependency on external platforms or softwares.
That's really cool. So this is what you're talking about, right? When we are talking about the StudioX capability, it boasts custom controls, lighting presets, rendering features,
Right.
tailored for precise product specs and design details, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did you balance the need for these granular, very industry specific controls with the goal of ensuring the platform is intuitive and user friendly for marketing teams who have, like you were talking about, they don't have extensive 3D design or rendering experience?
Yeah, so here comes our expertise in 3D solutions, right? So we have been delivering 3D content for our customers in the past 6 years, right? So we have that in-house expertise. So what we do with StudioX platform, we take customers' products, right, and we customize StudioX platform for their product need. Let's say if they want to highlight the laptop screen, right, or if they want to highlight the laptop keypad, right, or if they want to show the laptop in different angles. So what we do, we customize our control panel on StudioX platform to that product. So we'll map all the controls to that product so that they don't need to depend on any other 3D controls. So everything can be controlled using our toggle switches in the control panel.
So that's the part that's different. It's not a generic 3D tool. It is meant for specific industry use cases.
Yes.
When you were talking about, I have a laptop that I'm exploding out, right? Where I show the keyboard and I show, or if I look at the screen and I'm showing the camera construction and how it all comes together, that is specific to my product. And so is the software automatically doing this, or is our team enabling it?
It's a combination of both, right? So our team enables the 3D model, which is mapped to the StudioX platform, right? So then the StudioX platform will render images based on your product needs, right? Your campaign needs, right? So if you want to highlight the product laptop display feature in your campaign, so our platform is mapped to that feature where you can render multiple variations of images for that particular feature.
That's pretty cool. So Vikram, how does that help the product marketing team?
So I often get this question, right? So you've configured it, you've customized it. So seems a little like, I still don't get the benefit is what comes to mind, right? So what I talk about is the salad bar analogy, right? So when you go to a salad bar, you have all these ingredients laid out for you, all the dressings and toppings and whatnot, everything works together. So you can use any combination. But without the ingredients being prepared beforehand, there is no bar, salad bar. So that's what our team brings to the table. We're the chefs behind the counter who get that stuff ready for you, and you can put it together any way you want. You can explore all those features. You can make a completely green salad, or you can go all the way and do whatever you want, right, with it. So that's where it comes in. So even with the simplest thing like product, just look at it from different angles. You need the expertise that we have bring in to enable, empower those features to come to life, right? And I just want to talk about one point that that M brought up is and when you talked about is the exploded view or the internals. So I'm sure when people someone watches this, it'll say, I don't care about what's inside the product. You just talked about it being feeling and looking good. I don't care what's inside. Well, it does matter. We're talking about B2B, right? It does matter. Folks who put down a lot of money and who buy products in thousands, it does matter what specs, what security, what components, what construction, what engineering, what industrial design, electrical and electronic engineering. What wondrous things have you done inside the box? They want to know. And they always don't start off with reading tech specs and going deep into documents. This is what gives them an idea that this box has a lot of stuff going on inside. You might want to consider it. That's where this is.
So in this custom area, we are talking about computing products, consumer electronics. There's industrial products. We have big, gigantic machines that you can't just ship over as a prototype. This lets you touch and visualize it and blow things up from that perspective. It could be electric vehicles. It could be industrial vehicles.
Anything.
It could also be even, we were talking about lifestyle products, like it could be the latest sneaker design, right? So there's so many different ways you would use this, but in each case for the client, we will end up basically customizing that look for them. So, and the cool part is, I think, is that it's not very expensive either.
Exactly. So, like, depends on the product, right? If the product is complex, right, like a laptop or a phone with a lot of components, obviously it requires a little more work by the experts to enable all those features. But if it's from a number of components standpoint, if it's relatively simpler, like say a sneaker or a pair of boots, that is a simpler to enable in the platform in terms of time and effort. But it's still the expertise that comes behind the tool. That's what makes all the difference. Now you can find tons of tools and utilities out there where you put your CAD file up there. So, hey, render for you $20 a month or $5 each render. Just compare that to the quality that you get out of our tool, and you'll see what we mean by enterprise grade versus consumer grade.
For around the same cost that you normally pay to render this with software platform plus services firm that you're using today, you can get much better with what you're getting here and much faster.
Absolutely. The quality is what counts, right? The capabilities. Like, let's take the example of a pair of boots, right? Engineered for the outdoors and all the latest tech made of this. You want to see how the sole is attached to the body of the boot, right? You want to know what tech goes there. Is it just glue or what has the shoe company used, right? I'm paying upwards of $800, $2,000 a pair. I want to know what goes into that, right? How are you going to do that in a store? Are you going to give them a pair of boots to take apart and show? How much is that going to cost the company? Can you do that demo? You can't do that demo. You have to do it through 3D. And this is the only way you can do it.
That's awesome. So with 3D, right, the idea of 3D is I don't have to take and prototype tons of products and send it out
Absolutely.
to my salespeople, to every single distribution outlet. I can now visualize it with 3D way up front, get that in front of me. So then I can get orders, right? I can get it in front of folks. I can get feedback much faster too.
The money that I save shipping out samples where I can substitute with 3D, that money can go into marketing itself, right? So you cut the number of dollars you spend on producing samples, prototypes, demo units, and whatnot, and ship it out. Of course, you still need physical samples to go to key accounts and things like that, but you save a lot by keeping it only to the most critical usage and substitute 3D with a tool like ours, like StudioX, to do everything else in between. So everyone from PR to marketing to your social media folks or executive support team, sales support, sales enablement, channel marketing, they can all use this tool to get exactly what they need out of the product.
Consider these scenarios, right? So the physical product is still in production, okay, and only a few prototypes are available for traditional photo shoot. And large brands want to launch a global campaign, which requires shipping products to multiple locations for the photo shoot. So if we look at our situation, right, in the past, I think last year for CES launch, we faced this issue, right, where brands ship product to us. It got stuck with customs for 15-20 days. We lost 15-20 days time there. And again, this is necessary to cover various geographical areas and to show diversity among people. However, this process can take weeks or even months to complete this whole shoot, right? So with the StudioX platform now, you don't need to wait for weeks. It's in a days, not even days, in a day.
And imagine a scenario if the product design gets tweaked before launch. So you receive samples that are not 100% accurate as to what's going to go hit the market. What do? Only 3D can save you.
This is like, there's a fashion design sense, but it's not just in clothing and shoes, it's in every industry. And so anytime there's a feature change, you can make that feature change and get feedback on it. So that's really cool. The ability to do that, to visualize, to be able to get it in front of folks really quickly. So one question is that this is, as we're a services firm primarily, and now we're learning a lot about what it's like to be a product firm. How did we get the ability to build this?
From what I've seen is that all these skills already existed within Position Square because of our solid track record and experience of doing really complex projects for clients, right? So all of these skills they're already in the organization, and M and his team just brought this together to create a solution. So it's not that we went out and said, hey, we need to hire a small firm with these skills to turn us into a product firm, but we just naturally are well positioned to provide solutions to our clients now instead of just services, right? Because we've built up all these skills over these years, and our teams are just raring to go do more stuff. And they've done a ton of other things that there are solutions, but this is our first real product, right? We've got other products as well, but this is something that's purely in the creative business marketing space that saves money. It's not a buzzword kind of product or anything, but it solves genuine problems, right? So I strongly believe we have the ability to produce many more such solutions for our clients. But we have to be convinced where the pain point is, right? We're not that kind of firm that a client tells us, I have this problem, can you solve it? But we've got to be
I'd
convinced.
say
We've got
this
to,
is one of the
yeah.
benefits of for M. He has a team that can do creative and can also do development.
Yep.
And we've been doing this for clients for many years where we take their specs and we build it for them. Because of the work you folks are doing in AI, in terms of your development capability, now you could take some of that team and focus them on solving a big problem that you were facing.
Yep.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
So M, expand on that.
Over the years, so we developed an in-house rendering process that consistently outperformed many external vendors' offerings, right? So we witnessed the benefits like quicker turnaround times, richer visuals, and complete creative control, right? So the pivot moment came when we realized we could scale this advantage by transforming it into a platform. So that's how we started the StudioX thing. StudioX enables us to share this capability with clients, allowing them to access high impact visuals on demand without being held back by lengthy production cycles.
It's amazing. So now, Position Squared, we've already built robust AI capabilities in our campaign copilot capabilities. So we had a whole podcast episode on that with Sajan and Vikrant, not Vikram. Vikrant. This is for general marketing tasks like content creation, personalization, setting up your campaign, running your campaign. But now with StudioX, we have the ability to introduce AI shot generation as a future feature to ease the execution of visual shots. So how does your team's established expertise in broad AI for marketing influence the development of this specialized visual AI? So are there unique considerations or technical hurdles when evolving from AI that generates text or ideas to AI that produces general high quality visual outputs?
Yeah, so we have been exploring AI platforms in our teams for the last 8 months, 8 to 10 months. So what we did an R&D for 3 to 4 months, analyzing all available AI platforms, which will generate visuals for us, right? So we found the best ones in the market, and we are planning to integrate that onto our platform. While the current version focuses on human crafted 3D assets, our roadmap includes AI shot generation to help marketers explore creative options faster, while our experts ensure the visual meet enterprise quality standards, right? So with the help of AI, we can generate visuals for any use case.
What does that mean? So somebody just going to type in something?
Yes.
What do you mean by AI shot generation?
So AI shot generation, there are two things. So one is we know what are the best visuals which will support brand websites, social media platforms, and for ad campaigns, right? So we feed those information, those details as per the best practices and industry standards. So with one click of a button, StudioX will generate all required visuals for different platforms. That is one of the use case. So the another use case, which is very interesting, for example, let's say we need to highlight lightweight and long battery life for a laptop brand that wants to showcase productivity on the go. Let's assume that's a campaign. So we can create lifestyle visuals in different environments, from a coffee shop to a co-working space to an airport or anywhere else. So AI will generate the visuals based on the use case, and I can do it on the fly with StudioX. But the 3D model, the product model, is not generated by AI. The supporting environment for the use case, those images are generated by AI.
That's very cool. So that'd be huge time savings, an explosion of creativity.
Right. So we don't need to depend on stock photography, or we don't need to do a photo shoot for the environments, right? So along with this product, StudioX also can generate supporting environments and use case visuals using AI.
So now looking ahead, what trends do you foresee in visual content creation and marketing, especially for the industries that StudioX serves? So what's next on the roadmap, and how we continue to innovate and address future emerging market needs?
We envision a future where product visuals are not just static images, but fully interactive experiences that can customize by the viewer or users and integrated across all touch points. And in industries like automotive, this means enabling real-time customization for both interior and exterior features. And for computing devices, it involves showcasing every configuration option, which is where the need for endless photo shoots, right? And those are very customized for brands and for the product features. So StudioX will continue to advance personalization using AI assisted shot generation and enhance integration with marketing platforms, ensuring that visuals are not only stunning but also readily deployable across digital platforms.
Very cool. Vikram, is there something you want to add?
M talked about an important thing about the experts being key part of all these capabilities, whether it's AI assisted or AI generated shots, all of that. I think I really need to highlight this or talk about this a little more, because if you look at creative tools and all that, when you open up possibilities, you run the risk of things going in any direction and people making so many tweaks and adjustments the way they want, that the product might not look true to its original form. This is what happens with many consumer grade stuff that you can find on the net. This is why we call our stuff built for enterprises, because the way we've engineered this tool is that you can do all the stuff that M talked about, but the products look, the approved features, the textures will never deviate beyond a point. So from a legal standpoint, from a genuineness of representation standpoint, our client is always safe. Whoever uses StudioX is always safe. There's never going to be a lawsuit that says, yes, product looked black in the picture, but when I bought it, it was actually gray. So this is misrepresentation. That'll never happen. It's managed and engineered in such a way that you can explore ways to show the product, but you'll never be able to break apart what the product is actually, what it actually is. So these are some of the safeguards that we've built in, apart from security of the product design itself, right, which are truly well protected within the environment. You don't want to put your upcoming flagship products model onto some tool on the net there. You don't know where it's going. You don't know who's looking at it.
So, right. You're not going to just use the latest Google movie visualizer to build this.
No.
Right. I mean, because there's products out today where you can literally almost create a movie by writing some prompts or putting together a script and running them. And this is different than that, right? Because you're dealing with someone's actual product.
Yeah.
Accuracy is key here. In fact, just a couple of hours ago, I saw a new ad on Netflix, a phone company, right? I don't even recall the name because I lost respect for it instantly. And you know why? When they showed the phone turning around on screen like that, it looked plasticky. It had shines and glows that don't look real. It looked like something a 12th grader churned out, with all due respect, right? So this is how brands inadvertently end up damaging themselves. And I'm not saying they did it to save money. I'm not saying they did it. It's just the lack of awareness that these things can lead to disaster. Your product is your hero. It has to look exactly or better than what it should be, and accurate at the same time. So I'm going to pull up that ad and we can discuss it internally afterwards, but it's a prime example of where things can go wrong.
Right. You put all that work into building this product and then it looks like crap when you put it out there. So I mean,
exactly.
That. Now we're going to talk about your opinions about a bunch of different topics in the digital content sphere. So digital content has been stuck in a cycle of tired trends and soft takes. And so what we're going to do is cut through the noise with controversial opinions that'll make you rethink your content strategy. These are not just thought starters, they're thought provokers. These are statements designed to ignite real conversation. So here we go. User-generated content, UGC, is a lazy and exploitative content strategy. Companies are essentially getting free labor from their customers while avoiding the cost and effort of creating their own original material. What's your opinion? Go ahead, Vikram.
So interesting, Rajiv. So UGC, while it does all of that, saves money, gets brands to offload some of the workload, I don't see a lot of enterprise or B2B brands using UGC or relying on it for mainstream marketing, right? It could be used for promos, for a short localized kind of activity, but it's not really a serious kind of activity in what I've seen for mainstream tech and enterprise level tech. Right?
Well, I mean, people are creating their own reviews of the product.
So reviews are great, because reviews I don't see as UGC for market. It's UGC, it's in product reviews, right? So A review can be anything. So reviews are a whole different bucket of things. But UGC in terms of content for marketing, I don't see the use case for it for serious tech.
I think there's a combination. I think you have to have your professionally produced versions, but I think, I get products and I watch the unboxing video and I want to understand how's it going to be in my home environment. So there's something to that. But I think you're right. Maybe for B2B, it's a little less so, although that's why you go to places like G2 and take a look at things. All right, let's go to the next one. The only content that matters anymore is snackable and bite-sized. If you can't deliver your message in under 60 seconds, you're already irrelevant.
That's right, Rajiv. So we have seen that in our own campaigns when we do creatives for our clients, right? So we used to do A/B testing. What we realized is the short form content, like 15-second videos, 30-second videos, performing better than 1-minute videos. So again, it depends on the what type of videos. Like something like if you want to do a product tour video, yes, people are spending time and they want to understand the complete features and benefits of their product. They'll spend time. They don't mind spending a minute to consume the content. But let's say if we want to create any awareness kind of videos, I think the attention grabbing thing should be within 15 seconds.
15 seconds is the number. 60 is too long.
Yes.
I think, Rajiv, each of those formats or lengths of snackable versus short form versus long form have a definite role to play in the funnel, right? So the funnel might have changed. The funnel is now circular, loopy, whatever you talk, but they each have a role. For example, channel marketing, right? Channel partners, business partners, distributors, national level disties, they sell millions of products. They don't have the time to spend 1 minute on every product from a catalog of 3,000. There is no use case for it. For them, even 15 seconds, I would doubt. So 6 seconds, get the message across to those.
So this is goldfish level attention, right? Less than a goldfish. I find that when I take videos, even of friends doing things, if I can't get their attention, I actually have to tell them that stay on it. The funny stuff comes in about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, they're already on to the next thing. It's ridiculous. Okay, we are now goldfish. Authenticity in content is a myth. Every piece of content from an influencer's personal story to a corporate blog post is a carefully constructed performance designed to sell something. Authenticity in content is a myth.
I don't think it's a myth because any content has to be built on the framework of some facts and some reality, right? It can maybe embellished, it may be amplified, it may be beautified, it like we're talking about, right? It may be there is always a basis of some truth. Now the question is, whose truth is that? I think that's where the question of authenticity comes, right? So who's saying it? What are they saying? Everyone will say, this is my truth. And there are different versions of the truth, so you can debate that. But there's no content that is built out of thin air, out of nothing. Doesn't exist.
I wonder about authenticity and the notion, like, because things are so well produced, we actually enjoy people who are not crisp and completely clear. They make mistakes. They seem like a real human. They seem like us. Sometimes I've gone to presentations where someone's presenting their web content management system, web CMS, and the person sounds so well rehearsed that it loses it for me because it doesn't feel real. Anyways, that's a point of view. It's interesting. At the same time, I respect how well produced that person sounds. Okay, brands should stop trying to act human on social media. The constant use of memes and slang is cringeworthy and ultimately undermines their credibility. So here's an example. Ryanair, right? They're known for their witty and sarcastic responses on social media. It can be very edgy and people know that's who they are. I don't know. My 25-year-old daughter uses the word slay a lot, or fire. I don't know. How would you feel about seeing that in social media for a brand?
Well, if I see that, what I think is, of course, I'll enjoy the content first, but I would actually think that they know their target audience pretty well to do something this bold, right? There has to be they must really understand the psyche and mindset of their target audience. Then you can go down this path. So, like I said, I mean, I have a lot of respect for marketers because what seems easy to the world, you know this, Rajiv. So there's a lot of science, effort, sweat, and blood that goes behind it. This is what we've done in StudioX, right? We've put a lot of things, we've made it easy for the world. But the same thing, right? So what looks easy and fun outside, there's so much of insight and research that has probably gone into it and into that strategy. So, unless the quality of the content is not good, that's the previous thing we're talking about, I would still respect it.
So acting human is not necessarily just off the cuff. The company does a lot of research to get it there. So there's an example here of the 2025 Spotify Spread Beats campaign, right? So they took Excel spreadsheet and turned it into an interactive music experience, right? And it won a whole bunch of awards. These things just don't come off the top of someone's head. They are well thought through. So the more natural things are, it actually takes more work. Okay, here's another one. Content creators who don't embrace AI are holding back progress. They're like Luddites clinging to old technology while the rest of the world moves on to more efficient, scalable methods. Your thoughts?
We have two situations here, right? So if we want to use AI upfront, we need to take approval from clients, right? Large brands. So sometimes they don't allow us to use AI, especially when they're launching any flagship products, right?
Why is that?
They are scared of AI will steal all their product inside information, which they're going to launch in next 2 months. They don't want to reveal any product information.
Nothing should go back to the model, even though
Yes,
they assure
yes.
it, they assure you of that. In reality, there's concerns. So why take the chance?
Yeah, so that's the main reason why we don't depend much on AI for flagship product launches, but we still depend on AI to generate a lot of ideas and concepts for the product launches without mentioning any details about the product. But now we got so used to AI because of the tight deadlines. That's one of the reason, and also we got used to AI. And if we don't use AI, we feel that we are outdated, right? And there's a lot of competition between the team members also. So yeah, they don't use AI. They feel they're out of the space.
They're already becoming old if they're not using AI. I think, like you say, it seems like we have to use AI for everything. And I love using AI, and I'm proud of how much my team researches in this area. I am concerned when AI oriented results come out and they look good, but when you actually read it, it's bullshit. So it's not correct, it's off, it just sounds good. I have to keep urging our team, make sure that when our AI produces something, it should be able to produce what you would have produced, as good or faster or higher quality than what you've produced. So it should help you with, like you say, ideation, but not necessarily be the answer.
Right. Exactly.
You are still the experts. Here's an interesting one. Search engine optimization, or SEO, has ruined the internet. The focus on keywords and algorithms has forced content creators to write for machines, not people, leading to a sterile and uninspired online experience. Opinion?
Maybe partially true. I kind of agree that they tend to write for SEO first, and then everyone else. But I think the speed at which algorithms and way Google has implemented AI itself, right? It's is moving so fast that at some point we'll have to go back to writing for humans, because the algorithms, the LLMs are going to be so advanced. They'll want to prioritize human sounding language more. I think it's just going to come full circle.
I mean, SEO has been around for a long time, and keyword stuffing has been around for a long time. You're writing for keywords, and if you think you write more top keywords in a particular document, it'll be found, except when you read it, it reads like crap, right? So I've always been concerned about sterile writing, and I think SEO has enabled a lot of very sterile writing. It's just hard to be more imaginative, and that's where we need to do a much better job. And I think you're right. AI, because you're writing about a concept, hopefully gives us a better experience of some of the stuff that's written. I'm also not a fan of just pure marketing oriented copy, the scalability, serviceability, reliability. It just gets boring. We got to think of more creative ways to present information. Okay, last question in this one. Content is no longer about information. It is about pure entertainment and emotional manipulation. The most successful content isn't the most useful, but the one that makes you laugh, cry, or get angry.
I think emotions have a huge role to play, but I don't think emotions are the only thing that can work. They can go up to 99%, but
well, emotions matter, but in a buying decision, especially when it's expensive, you're not going to just buy something based completely on emotion. Emotion helps drive you to a decision, but when it's an expensive or life-changing one, that's why in business to business, there are business to business buying groups to take some of the emotion out of it and to rank it and rate it and truly understand it. It's plus minus. I don't know. And what do you think? I mean, you deal with emotions all day you have designers, developers, creators, you have clients. What do you think?
I think I agree with Vikram, right? So emotion plays a critical role, like you mentioned, right, in terms of buying decisions, right? Emotion is a key thing which connects with the audience.
I just want to add, Raju, to this is, there's that pretty, not recent, but pretty old construct that is any marketing, whether it's B2B or B2C, is actually H to H, right? Human to human. So you strike that chord and then you pass the gate and then you can do all your B2B and B2C stuff, right? So sometimes emotions are required at the beginning, sometimes they're required at the end. I think that's where B2B and B2C differ from my experience, right? So B2B, like you said, the emotion can come at the end, right? Once all the logical decisions have been taken or evaluations have been done, you just go the last mile with emotion. But B2C, unless you strike a chord, you don't get anything. You don't get past anything, right? So just forget who you are.
Yeah, but again, emotion connects well with want versus need, right? It connects very closely with the want, right? But
Absolutely.
not with the need for that moment. That's it. Yeah.
That's well done. Now, here comes the fun part, the Spark Tank. Today, we're joined by two powerhouses from Position Squared, Rajesh Mutyailu, or M, and Vikram Raghavachari. We're not just talking about the future, we're watching a creative master and a top business strategist duke it out over what's real and what's really good marketing. Here's the deal. I'm going to read you 3 statements about some of the most fascinating and unexpected ways 3D has been used in marketing. 2 of these are absolutely true. The kind of innovative case studies that make you go, damn, I wish I thought of that. 1 is a complete fabrication, a complete lie designed to sound just plausible enough to make you second guess your instincts. I'll count down 3, 2, 1, and you'll both reveal your answer simultaneously. Let's see who's the real disruptor in this digital showdown. Okay, here's round 1. During the 2024 FIFA World Cup, Adidas used drone synchronized 3D holograms to display giant interactive soccer balls hovering above stadiums in 8 cities. Number 2, L'Oreal Paris's 2024 billboard in Malaysia featured a virtual model applying lipstick in 3D. The passerby could use an AR app to try on the same shade by tapping the billboard, driving a surge in local makeup sales. Number 3, in 2024, the Las Vegas Sphere hosted a viral Xbox campaign in which a hyper-realistic 3D animation of a Xbox console exploded out of the LED sphere, creating stunning gaming scenes that tricked thousands into thinking they'd seen a real physical launch on the strip. Okay, so which one is false? It's either the FIFA one, Adidas using drone synchronized 3D holograms to show giant interactive soccer balls in 8 stadiums, L'Oreal's 2024 billboard in Malaysia, right, for virtual model applying lipstick in 3D, or the Las Vegas Sphere, where it looked like scenes were coming out of the sphere. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I'll go with 1.
M is going with 1, and Vikram is going with 2. And the winner for this one, the one that is false, is number 1. So that sounds right, but is not true. L'Oreal did actually have AR enhanced 3D billboards featuring a lifelike model in Malaysia with an interactive AR component allowing viewers to virtually apply makeup. The campaign set a new standard for immersive, engaging outdoor advertising. Number 3 is also correct. The Xbox campaign took over the LED sphere in Las Vegas with eye-popping 3D animation, making the console look as if it burst out of a real space, generating millions of social media views and headlines about the craziest ad in Vegas history. And I can tell you from being in the sphere, when I went to the U2 concert, it did make a sphere look like a square space in sections. Okay, so M is winning 1-0. Round 2. In 2023, scientists at the University of Miami installed 3D printed coral structures off the coast of Florida to accelerate reef recovery. These precisely engineered reefs help attract fish and restore damaged ecosystems. Number 2. Samsung's Tab A launch video in 2022 used 3D animation to showcase the tablet as a billboard-sized device on city buildings and a racetrack, demonstrating its display and processing power without expensive physical props. Or number 3, Verilux created a digital 3D time machine showroom where attendees could select varifocal lenses and see animated simulations of eye aging and lens adaptation, getting personalized recommendations via smart glasses. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Vikram says 2 Samsung's tablet launch video. He thinks that's false. And M said 3 Verilux's created 3D time machine. The winner of this one is M. So 3 is false. So for number 1 is true. Teams used 3D printing to rapidly deploy reefs designed for optimal fish habitats, a fully documented restoration milestone. And number 2, Samsung did use 3D scenes, a billboard-sized tabe and racetrack sequence to highlight tech spaces, all by blending animation with real location.
So it's easy for me. I am in this 3D space and I follow these articles.
That's
I
what
have
it
not
is.
heard about 3D time machine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's maybe, so if you didn't hear about it, you're not going for it. So here we go. Here's the last one. We may do one other one if Vikram comes and gets this one. So we'll give him a chance to tie potentially. Okay, in 2023, the Infinity Descent VR art exhibition let visitors explore a whole living digital ecosystem, walking around virtual plant and animal sculptures and triggering environmental changes with the wave of a hand. Number 2, a startup in Dubai used agentic AI and 3D content to generate holographic wait staff for restaurants. These avatars can walk, talk, and even serve food. It was quietly rolled out in a dozen major hotels last year. Number 3, NASA collaborated with Fusion Media to produce a VR simulation called Mars 2030, which let visitors at museums walk and drive around a scientifically accurate Martian landscape, collecting rocks and conducting experiments like a real astronaut. All right, so tell me which one you think is false. 3, 2, 1. All right, we have a tie here. Both M and Vikram say number 1 when it's the false one is actually number 2.
You said Dubai. I thought they can do anything. I mean, it's possible in Dubai.
Kind of true. I mean, that place is the most man-made, incredible adventure I've ever seen. A desert on the water to just this incredible city. So, number 1, Infinity Descent VR exhibit, artist Jacob Kutz-Steensen's exhibition used immersive VR to craft interactive living environments where viewers shape the digital world as they move and gesture. And number 3 is also true, the Mars 2030 VR simulation. Visitors experience a real Mars surface in virtual reality with scientific data powering lifelike rocks, dust storms, and interactive missions endorsed by NASA. Those are the 2 true ones. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it seems like you can pull this off. All right. In this one, we're going to do, since M has 2 and Vikram has nothing, we're going to have 3 points for this one.
Okay.
In 2025, a London jewelry retailer held a virtual try-on event using interactive 3D avatars. Shoppers could use their webcams to project lifelike 3D models of rings and necklaces onto their hands and necks in real time, previewing purchases before buying. Number 2, in 2025, the Paris Opera Ballet created a fully virtual performance streamed online using digital motion capture and AI-assisted 3D animation to render dancers as lifelike 3D avatars in a fantastical setting, allowing global viewers to control camera angles and explore choreography interactively. Number 3, a California vineyard hosted a virtual wine tasting in 2024, presenting guests with real glasses and AR visors, then overlaying 3D swirling animations of the wine's chemical makeup in each glass while winemakers appeared as holograms, answering questions in augmented reality. So we have the London jewelry retailer try-on event, we had the Paris Opera, choreography in 3D, and the California Vineyard virtual wine tasting. So you ready? 3, 2, 1. What's your answer? They're both tied again? All right. Give me your reason for it.
No, obviously, I never heard of virtual wine tasting. I think
What's the objective? Yeah, what's the objective, right? It's probably a vineyard tour, not a wine tasting tour. If you said that, then yeah. But wine tasting,
Well, okay, but it's a chemical makeup in each glass. So it tells you about the wine.
Ah.
Seems wrong. Well, you both are correct.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. So London's Gems in Motion in 2025, jewelry brand Taylor & Hart showcased digital twin avatars of models and enabled live real-time try-on experiences via AR, letting users project jewelry onto their hands and necks through their phones and webcams before purchasing. This campaign was covered in fashion and tech media for its combination of 3D content and e-commerce. Really cool. And then Paris Opera's Ballet's virtual 3D performance in 2025, the Paris Opera Ballet used advanced motion capture and AI technology to produce a streamed virtual ballet performance. The digital avatars of dancers moved in a visually stunning 3D fantasy environment with interactive features letting viewers explore the show from multiple perspectives. This represented a landmark in immersive digital performing arts, covered widely in the arts and tech press. So that was awesome. So the winner obviously is M by a score of 5-3.
Yeah. High five.
High five. Great job, guys. That was amazing. Okay, so these are more personal kind of questions, personal closers that we usually have for folks. And what I'm going to do is have each one of you just take one at a time. Okay, so Vikram, what's a belief or perspective you've completely changed your mind about in the last few years? And what triggered that transformation?
Just in terms of work and marketing, so I kind of used to believe that marketers can adapt their skills to different kinds of marketing. A good marketer is a good marketer. They can do B2C, they can do B2B, they can do tech. But I kind of realized that one has to have certain natural traits to succeed, in one. So there's space, everyone has a space that they're going to be good at. So my belief is that if you were born to do a certain kind of job, task, or marketing, I think you should do that. And we definitely give it a shot, give other types of marketing a shot, but you'll really be good at what you're naturally inclined to. So people might say that, hey, that's not really true. You should be able to do everything.
What made you feel that way? I mean, you would think the first thing that you said is true. You can adapt to anything.
The reason is because the age of knowledge, AI and all that, you just need to have a lot more domain knowledge and specialized knowledge to be able to use AI, to use all the tech that is available today to make an impact in what you're doing. And if you're a generalist, which was, I think was valued 5, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, that worked then. But today, it's back to being a specialist. You have to be a specialist in something.
Yeah, so general knowledge is so easily available
Correct.
that the specialized knowledge is what really stands out. That's really a unique answer. I love it. Okay, M, what's a place you've never been to but feel like you've somehow belonged there, and what draws you to it?
I'm very fascinated by Japan for its precision, and I have a huge respect for their craftsmanship. So, Japan beautifully balances both tradition and modernity, whether it's the design of a temple architecture, or a bento box, or a motorcycle, or a car. Everything reflects a clarity of thought.
That's a great answer. I love that. I love that. That makes a lot of sense. We'll have to get you over there. All you got to do is get Sony as a client and you can go visit.
We will.
Okay, M, what's a piece of conventional wisdom that everyone around you accepts, but you secretly think might be wrong?
I always hear about work life balance. So I believe that balance is a constantly shifting goal. What we truly need is a work life rhythm and understanding when to push forward, when to take a break, and when to allow one part of life to blend into other. So that's how it is in real life. So for me, more than work life balance, it's work life rhythm.
That's beautifully done. I think that work-life balance comes when you integrate your work and your life together. It just makes it much more efficient. But I love your point of view. So the next one for Vikram, if you could be guaranteed to be really good at one thing that you're currently terrible at, what would you choose?
I'm currently terrible at. So I'm going to skip that part, pretend I didn't hear it. I'm going to say if I could be guaranteed something I would want to be really good at, it's influencing people without them knowing it.
You mean like just sort of projecting your mind into someone?
Projecting, mind control, whatever, but they should do whatever I wish them to do with voluntarily, happily, with a smile.
Special Doctor Strange likability. I feel like that's a thing in X-Men.
Just to clarify a little bit, I would actually prefer if I knew what they were thinking. It's more like Mel Gibson knowing what women want I want that kind of power. That is more useful.
That's awesome. Okay, M, if you had to describe your personality using only food metaphors, what would you be and why?
I would be biryani.
Biryani. So, for everyone who doesn't know, biryani is a great Indian dish with rice, and usually it's a meat or could be vegetarian, but it's just a wonderful mixture. Why would you say that?
Typically, I mean, biryani, it's a layered thing, right? Sometimes it's intense and slow cooked with patience, and there is a masala in it, but it doesn't reveal everything at first bite, right? The more you experience it, you will get it to see the more flavors slowly. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay, Vikram, what's something you're surprisingly good at that has nothing to do with your career? And how did you discover this hidden talent?
So I'm pretty good at reading a lot about people from their faces. I often don't even need to talk to them, and this is my own reading of myself. So I can tell a lot from the face. So I do believe that the face is the index of the mind. So I can tell a lot from a person's face. And the point being here, I don't have to talk to the person. If you give me just nuggets of info, and if I get to look at the person, I can tell you a lot. Pretty accurate.
That's an amazing skill. If you can read the body language, they say that 70% of communications is body language. So if you're getting that, you're really doing amazing things. That's awesome. Okay. M, final question. Tell me the second thing that you love, not the first thing, the second thing.
The second thing I love is riding motorcycles. So I love motorcycles. Riding keeps me calm. It also acts like my stress buster. I love going for solo rides.
That is super fun, right?
That is a stress buster
Solo ride.
That's the best thing. Yeah, you can keep your own pace. Yeah.
Especially in India, the city roads can be really crowded. So one of the
Yeah.
coolest things you could do is get out into the countryside and
That's right.
go on a great long ride. It's super cool. All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. I really appreciate having you here to describe why you built this amazing product, the value that it offers so many companies and product marketers. And really, it's the ability to get greater products to market. It's really the ability to iterate faster. It's the ability to truly represent what you're offering and do it in incredible ways. And really, that's what we're trying to do with marketing, is to take your beautiful ideas and get it to the right people. So thank you both for just describing what got you there and what we're doing for folks. And really, anybody who wants to take a look, please come to the position2.com website. And we have a special page just for that. So you can learn about it, try it, right? You can try it.
Yes.
We offer the ability for folks to engage with us, to do a trial and go from there. We have some great clients already on it. So we'd love to get you in.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you, Raju.
Thank you, Raju. Thanks for having us.
Wow, that was super interesting today to have M and Vikram on the show. It just struck me when they came out with this initiative, surprised me with this amazing initiative, that we just had to have them here. I mean, here are folks working super hard to reach current clients and new clients and make them super successful. They could just sit back and just do their job. But instead, they took that extra time. They leveraged what AI is enabling them to do today and the efficiencies that it's getting for us to go out and then build this whole new product and really change the way our team is being run. So Vikram, as I mentioned, he used to be on the client side, and he's taught me so much about, because he's worked with so many agencies, so many service providers, so many folks in terms of building products and companies, how they think about things, how they market, how they express themselves. And I'm constantly amazed when I get him in front of folks, how sharp he is about different marketing and content trends. And then M, I've known him for now 15 plus years. He started off as the designer at the company. Now he's leading a significant team. And it wasn't enough that he's leading one of the largest teams in the company. He's also proactively building products because it makes a difference in what his team is doing and how it could benefit the world. And he's got this special desire to make 3D happen, and he's doing it here. So it kind of surprised me, but didn't surprise me when he mentioned Japan as being his place that he'd like to visit because he loves the mentality, the thinking, the attention to detail, the craftsmanship, the cleanliness, in many ways, the quiet. And so it doesn't surprise me. And it's so him. And so this is some of the gift I get when I see these folks, when I visit our offices around the world and see them, and I can bring them to here today and bring this. So I really hope you have a chance to listen and learn about them, as well as learn about our product and tell other folks who are building physical products that we have a great way for you to visualize what you do and truly bring it to light and bring it to market. All right. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's podcast, and I'm sure you did, please take a moment to rate it and comment. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts can be found. And I'll just tell you, just make that extra click. It means everything in the world to us, especially if you comment. This show is produced by Sandeep Parikh and Anand Shah, production assistance by Taryn Talley, and edited by Laura Ballant. I'm your host, Rajiv Parikh from Position Squared, a 3D-centric growth marketing company based in Silicon Valley. Come visit us at position2.com. This has been an F and Funny production, and we'll catch you next time. And remember, folks, be ever curious.